Welcome back. Youth sports, I don't have to tell you, it's a $37 billion industry with over 60 million players in the U.S., and it may get even bigger after the Olympics. That means millions of matches and teams and tournaments to coordinate. For more, let's check in with one company using tech to streamline the process. Joining me now is Peter Fritzilis. He's the CEO of TeamSnap, a sports team management platform. It's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Private equity owned, is that right?
Yes, correct.
So my first question won't be about an IPO. We'll just talk about the nuts and bolts of the business and everything. There is so much to schedule and manage in the world of youth sports, and TeamSnap is one of the main ways that parents can now do that.
Yeah, so we have over 25 million users, over 4 million on a monthly basis. Think about the technology twofold. One is consumer-oriented apps, which you and your husband have been using with your kids, and that's kind of organizing the chaos of the team, being able to communicate between the coaches, the family, the fans. And then we have more of a small to medium-sized business, think B2B software, to help the operations of those organizations that are providing the programming of sports, so the clubs, the leagues, which is a traditional kind of SaaS platform with an embedded payments offering.
Because as I'm using it, or honestly, more as he's using it, I'm thinking to myself, how do you make money?
A combination of licensing fees, both at a coach and a sports org level, think traditional kind of ARR SaaS business. There's a payments component of that, so as you're paying for registration fees and dues for your children, we're taking a small processing fee off of that to help subsidize the cost overall. And then we do have an advertising piece. There's a freemium model that through brands, we're able to provide teams with a free use of the mobile application to help with the organization of the teams.
Got it. So it's been around, this app has been around for a decade or so. There are others out there. How big is the growth in usage, and how do you kind of continue to get in front of more and more teams and participants?
Yeah, so we estimate the market right now to be about $37.5 billion, as you led off with. Estimates say that's growing up to about $70 billion globally by 2030.
So it's gonna keep going.
It's going to keep going.
There's a lot of us hoping this whole thing has crested, and maybe we've seen the top of the bubble, but we're not even close.
No, genie's out of the bottle relative to the professionalization of youth sport, right? And so the maturization of the industry is now providing this industrial complex, which is good and bad, and there's arguments to be made on both sides.
You said it perfectly, by the way.
But look, in terms of sheer scale, right, you have about 73 million kids under the age of 18 here in the U.S. 60 million of them are participating in youth sports. You layer in the parents like you and I, coaches, fans, and then all of the volunteers and the owners of clubs and leagues. We think this is a market that's hitting well over half of the U.S. population and continuing to grow in size.
And in our experience, it's not just youth sports. We've used it for things like the pickleball league and different things. Is that right? I mean,
for sure. Anything kind of youth, amateur, through even adult rec leagues. Anytime organizations or groups are just organizing around sport, that's where our offering comes into play. And we have one of the leading sports apps relative to traffic, really second behind ESPN.
Wow. So you've come in, I'm sure one of the mandates coming in on the private equity side is kind of get the business as, profitable as possible, kind of spiff it up, so to speak. So talk a little bit about that and what the next couple of years might bring.
So as you know, I think an ownership structure and a capital partner relative to where the company is on its journey is very important, right? And we have a great capital partner in a private equity firm by the name of Watt Capital out of Chicago, growth-oriented mid-market firm. And we've not been focused on profitability. We've been focused on growth, heavily investing in the technology to improve the experiences of our coaches, our parents, our fans, but also to simplify and really centralize all of the tools that a business providing the programming of sport would need. And along with that, we've done 2 follow-on acquisitions through a company called LeagueSide, which brought kind of the sponsorship model that you see at both a professional and collegiate level down to youth sports, where we've given back just in 23 over $14 million back to youth sport organizations that are being provided through those sponsorships from big national brands, along with a media platform called Mojo Sports last December.
Interesting. So when the pivot comes, and maybe it's towards another, could be another private equity company, it could be a tech, who knows, whoever that ultimate acquire or IPO is, when you have to focus on profitability, what does that start to look like? Does it change the user experience at all, or does it rely more on advertising? Or?
No, so we broke profitability this year, right? So we're kind of 3.5 years into this journey with Watt Capital, and we'll be profitable going forward here. I think really the big story is more of the consolidation of the space, right? There was a wave of consolidation called 17, 18, and I think we're right on the cusp of being able to see that again. With TeamSnap, we believe we have the blue chip asset to help go lead that consolidation. And there's a handful of assets when you bring together. You're right on the course of the IPO as we were talking about.
Okay, very interesting. We'll be watching with excitement. You mentioned your little kids as well. Do you literally use your own software?
All the time. All the time. I mean, it's the best
Without
market research.
Without having picked it, do you just organically come up, they're using TeamSnap?
It's a little bit of both. I kind of influence some areas. And then, like when you have over 4 million or a couple million people on daily, the app is everywhere. Right. Now, I don't always wear my TeamSnap branded gear to the field. I don't want to do tech support all the time. But, it's always good to be able to use our own products out in the field.
I won't tell the parents in your Connecticut town. They will be coming to you for tech support. It. That's going to be the name of the game. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it. Peter Frantzilas with TeamSnap.